Right, so same case as last week. We got the Spurs Everton game on Friday. I'm just gonna do this prediction now ahead of time. I think it's gonna be, let's say, 1-1 draw. I think that Everton have seen better days. They have been on better form. They've been playing some decent football recently, but not really quite. And Spurs are just kind of down now right now. So I think it'll be a challenge for either of them to kind of push ahead and get the result. But I don't think any of them should really struggle too much. Right, so hello, back with Premier League predictions. We're at match week 32 now. Should be a relatively shorter video, only 6 matches to predict, but quite a few interesting ones. So going right into it, starting off with Newcastle West Ham. I went with a 2-1 win to West Ham for this one. So obviously West Ham are flying, we all know that. They very well could book the ticket to Europe. We're not just talking about Europa League, we're talking about Champions League. We mentioned this in the past. Very exciting time for the Irons, of course. But so you have West Ham flying, and Newcastle are just starting to recover form. So because of this, I think Newcastle should be able to put a decent fight, hence why I do think they'll pull one back. But they also have been lacking kind of that fluidity and quickness, the pace to West Ham's game. West Ham know how to get what I call an isolated result. I don't know if that's an actual term, but it's pretty much when a team could be in a good run of form and they snap it. Or they could even, if West Ham aren't in the greatest form, which I'm not saying they're not in good form, but if it has, if people want to say that it looked better for West Ham and it's looked better for Newcastle, I don't think that's really valid, because I think West Ham, when they're kind of down and out, which is not right now, they can get a result. So if they can get one then, they can definitely get one now. So I think just because the fluidity, just because of the quickness of their game and what they can do and how easily Newcastle can be snapped, I think that can very well break what Newcastle, if they've had a little bit of a streak, because things have been looking better. I think things have looked a little more comfortable for Newcastle, and West Ham take advantage of that. So 2 into the Hammers, I think should be relatively easy for them. Still a decent game though, I think. Andy Carroll derby, that was exciting. 6th one, we have Wolves and Sheffield United. I went with a 2-0 win to Wolves. So Wolves have not been the greatest form, but they have been getting close results against these teams who have been kind of hitting good runs. So they would score a few. It would be a high-scoring game, and they would just lose by 1. So against these high-scoring teams, they have consistently kind of reaped up these wins against these teams who are in the lower part of the table, and I think they can take advantage of that and use the Sheffield United game as kind of a leg up to just build on their season and just have a strong finish to what maybe could have been a better season for them. So I think 2-0 to Nuno's men. So next we have Arsenal Fulham. Arsenal have been getting decent results. I think they can, kind of like Wolves, build on their ability to build up against lower sides. I mean, they've been flying in Europe. They've been doing quite well in the league, and even Arsenal can kind of show a fight back, something to fall back on. Fulham have been known to show something, and I think both teams are playing exciting football at the minute. So I wouldn't put it past them for Fulham to maybe get one back. Like maybe it could be 2-0, but maybe it could be 2-1. I'm saying 2-0 anyway, but I think it should be relatively easy. It should be relatively easy for the Gunners. Next we have Man United Burnley. It's usually an interesting fixture. This one shouldn't be as interesting as they are Burnley, but Mark Goldbridge will be the first to admit this can be an interesting one. However, I don't think that'll be the case, as I went with 3-0 to United here. So Burnley have had a bit of a dip in form after getting a few good results, and I feel like Burnley, they will build a solid team, a solid run of games at the same time. If they get too comfortable, which I'm not saying they do, I don't think Burnley one of the teams that could do that, but I feel like once the floodgates are open, they could really be down and out. And with United, it's the absolute opposite. They've been impressive in Europe. They've been impressive in the league. They've not really shown a sign of stopping. I just think it should be another consistent result for them. They're at home, and they've changed the color of the seat coverings from red to black, so they won't confuse the seats for members of the team anymore. Show score logic. Don't shoot the messenger. But yeah, anyway, I think it should be relatively easy for United. So next one at Leeds and Liverpool. And I think, so you look at Liverpool, they did have that game against Real where they were still solid despite not going through. It was a solid performance against them. The defenders really stepped up, which is kind of why the Villa game went wrong in the beginning, and it was why loads of things have been going wrong recently. Leeds did just beat City, but I went with a 3-1 win to Liverpool. So Liverpool, as I mentioned, they have been getting results, and more importantly, they've been playing good football. That Villa game was I think it's the beginning of a turning point in what's Klopp's called a mini season to just get these results down and get into Europe for next season, because they showed a lot of fight. They were still playing good football. The finishing was a bit questioning versus Real, but I would say things were relatively well put together against Villa. Was it perfect? No, but it was good. Maybe the best we've seen in a little while. I think the defending was brilliant against Real Madrid. So we just need to combine those two aspects, and I think we're good. Leeds have been scoring quite a few, but they've also kind of been getting these closer results against little teams. They could do something, but maybe not enough. Maybe it could be like a 2-1. Maybe Liverpool might knock at 3. But I think Leeds have lacked consistency a bit at times. I think maybe after that win against City, could they go into this game a little more comfortably than they should? Probably not. They're Leeds. I don't think they're going to get too ahead of themselves. But nonetheless, I think Liverpool can take advantage if Leeds are to get too comfortable and kind of use all these struggles and all this experience of building back and like rebuilding kind of this season, or rebuilding form, and just use it to throw everything at it for this game. 3-1 to the Reds. So with about next one, we got Chelsea-Brighton. I went with a bit of an outlandish one for this one, 4-2 to Chelsea. Not that's outlandish that Chelsea are going to win. I think that's kind of assumed. But Chelsea have been solid. It seems they've been progressively getting better. They've had a few dips like that West Brom game, but overall it seems like they've been getting better by the week with Tuchel, really. They have been playing decent football in the league in Europe, but I feel like with that being said, sometimes they will do just enough to get results. They'll put in the first leg against Porto, and they'll put in, then they will the second leg. Doesn't matter, they still get consistent results over time, so I still think they're going to see it out. And I think Brighton have also been raising their standards with convincing results. That draw against Everton, that win against Newcastle, that win against Southampton, so I think they could do something. Chelsea should be able to do it, but I think they will need to show a bit of fight, because sometimes they could have been a little more convincing in the past, and I think Brighton are a team that shouldn't be counted out right now. So yeah, maybe it could be a different scoreline. 4-2 is quite specific. Probably not going to be the high scoring. Just kind of want to go for a fun one. Just kind of the main thing about these, my take on it, it's not so much the results getting them right, but just kind of the analysis and just how things going to go. You just throw out a number for the fun. Not like I just randomly think the numbers. I do think of the results, but no predictions will be perfect. Maybe if like you're a football mastermind, but I'm not. Clearly, but yeah, so just a bit of a fun one, and yeah, that's it for match week 32. Cheers for watching, hope you enjoyed. So yeah, bit of a, not really lack of uploads, I wasn't uploading this week, but just kind of doing series. I am working on kind of more isolated videos. A current series will be coming back. I had to deal with a few technical difficulties, so I'll get through later, like in those videos. So yeah, cheers for sticking with me. Cheers to the growth. Over half of you aren't subscribed, so if you could just subscribe, I like watching the number change. Really boost my ego, narcissistic as they come. So yeah, see you a lot later.